Proud of You is a parenting advice podcast and support group for dads hosted by two goofy dads. They are not pediatricians, nutritionists, OBGYNs, psychologists, nor are they authorities on parenting. They're just two dinguses trying to figure it all out. Their advice should not be taken as expert information. Parenting looks different for everyone, and there's no wrong way to be a dad. Frankly, if you're taking the time to listen to a podcast about it, you're already doing a great job. And these dads are proud of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Welcome back. I'm Derek Mata.
And I'm Andrew Goody, and we are proud of you. Ooh, Dancy today. Derek, I heard the funniest joke this week. Do you want to hear it?
Is it a dad joke?
It's not. Well,
okay. Throw it at me. Throw it at me. Let's hear it.
So my nephew told me that he could beat me in Super Smash Brothers.
Okay. Wait, which one? The Switch version or the N64 version?
Does it matter? You know,
Yes.
I'm going to wipe the floor with anybody in Smash Brothers, no matter what generation it is.
Come on over. Let's prove this shit. Keep going. I'm sorry, I'm ruining the joke.
The joke was that it would ever be possible to beat me in Smash Brothers.
I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna win. I love Smash Bros. And it's funny though, because Lucas is at the age that he plays video games. He gets good at video games, and kids these games are gamers. They're not gamers like we are / were.
Yeah.
And I remember just a few years ago, we'd play Rocket League together, and I would just pretty much wipe the floor with them. I would win, and I'd feel good about it. He has since gotten better than me, and I will not play him because I do not want to give him the satisfaction of beating me.
Emily beat me at Smash Brothers once and has permanently retired from the game.
You know what? You got to go out on top.
I love it. No, so and that's, man, it's so tough, right? Because when do you let your kid win, and when do you just crush? No, you're 100% crush them all the time.
It's funny because April and I talk about this all the time. Oh, you gotta let them win sometimes. Hell no, the world is a cruel place. Let them learn now.
I think it's always a mixed bag for me, right? Because I feel like, and I've seen it firsthand, if the first time that because typically, when it's something like a video game or something with your kids, I'm introducing my kid to this thing that I like, right? Now Lucas is a little bit older, right? And he might get into a video game and be like, hey dad, you want to come play this with me? You want to try this game? And it's something that you've never played or heard of. But if you just fucking cream somebody the first time that they play a new game, they might not want to play it anymore. They might not have any fun, right?
Okay. To be fair, I'd make them think there's a fighting chance. Hey, because I want you to play with me again. So, yeah. Oh, you almost got me. Just kidding. Now I'm actually playing the game.
Yeah. No, that's always, and that's always been my jam with my nephew when we play Super Smash Brothers. I play to win, but I play it 70% of how I would play if you and I were playing Smash Brothers. And I just wanted to destroy you, right? I'm not playing at my top peak nerd lord gamer boy performance. I'm playing held back and reserved and casual in sparring mode, right?
Okay, so I will say the one game that I will not hold back on ever, literally ever, Mario Kart.
Oh yeah.
I just want to see how bad I can smoke everybody. And April's the same way. She'll beat me once because of, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna change my cart. I'm gonna change whatever, and then I lose, and I'm like, all right, this obviously doesn't work because they do change the stats of the carts, honey. I know you're listening to this. It does change it. And then I'll change it back.
And that's everything that you just call. That's your excuse flag. Oh, I was racing as Yoshi. I'm not used to it.
No, I mean, I race as Link all the time. Because Link's the best. Um, but I go back to my normal setup, and then I fucking win because that's what I do. But that's neither here nor there. I'm the best. But it reminds me. I remember, and I don't know why. This is one of those memories, and it wasn't my stepdad or my mom let me win. It was my sister's 3 years younger than me. We were playing Connect Four some shit, and I was able to beat her. And my stepdad goes, "You need to let her win." Like, why? But I did because I was told to do it.
Yeah.
And again, it's, will I do it to Ivy? I'll probably let her win because that's my little baby girl. So, but my sons and my wife, no, I'm gonna win every time.
No, and that's it's a hard blend, right? Because you said it kind of jokingly, but like there is an element of like the world's not going to let you win, right? Like the world's most typically you're going to have to fight your way and try your hardest and practice to beat somebody in the job market or whatever hobby that you're into or whatever. Like if you want to get good at something, you have to practice and get better and win fair and square. You're not typically gonna have somebody who it's you and somebody else going head to head in a tight job interview situation where you're fighting for who gets the role and the other person goes, you know what, I'm gonna let you win. Like that's not gonna happen.
Definitely not. It'd be great if it
but
did.
I'm also not every situation that my child goes through has to be a training simulation for real life, right? Like we're allowed to just have fun. We're allowed to be silly and goofy, and usually that's where like I will play some rounds where I'm just like goofing off, right? Like Smash Brothers is my default example because I've been playing Smash Brothers since the original N64. It was like my favorite game. My sister and I just played the crap out of that game, and then Melee, and then Brawl, and then Ultimate. Like just love everything. That franchise. And so like when I play, I have, weird to say, but like I have 2 decades of experience playing Super Smash Brothers under my belt, so I'm pretty competitive at it. But then I'll just play a game where like I'll try to win without hitting anyone, right? Like never throwing a punch, just avoiding. Or I'll try to win a game where like I only punch and I never dodge. And like figuring out those like just kind of play like how can I be silly so that it seems like I'm still engaging with them while letting them wipe the floor with me because they need to win one so that they'll keep playing.
And that's what I do because like I am not the best Super Smash Bros. Player. Like I'll admit that I love the fuck out of the game and I wish my family would play it with me. But yeah, I put items on high and I'll just sit there and I'll pick up items and I'll throw them and just see what happens because it's that I'm holding myself back so you don't hate the game so you'll play it again. But at what point do you find that medium? Because you mentioned the training simulator. Like I am so fucking guilty of it. Like I think there's a lot of life lessons I wish I was taught as a kid. And now I'm like, I'm just going to throw all of it at my kids all at once. And like forgetting that, hey, at the end of the day, they are still children. They still need to have fun. Like I'm having fun and you're learning a lesson.
Well, it's one of those things, right? Like I have rampant ADHD and I talk about it all the time that like I hyperfixate and my brain goes, we have to be productive all the time. I have to be productive. And then I'm like, oh man, I could really use some rest. I've been really productive. And so I'll take rest and then I'll be like laying down and I'm like, oh man, how can I rest more productively? Like,
what does that even mean?
Exactly. And so it's that same thing where like, right? Like I have 18 years to teach Alana how to be an adult. That seems like incomprehensible. And the reality is I sure didn't know what I was doing as an adult at 18. My parents laid the foundation and gave me the groundwork to be a productive adult. But I had to fuck up after I was 18 and go to them and say, hey, I messed up. How do I fix this? Or like, I ruined my credit. What do I do now? Like what, learn those mistakes to become a fully fledged human.
At least you had that. Like I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but like
Yeah.
at least you had that safety net, that backbone, which good on you. Key note for anybody listening: don't let your kids just figure it out. Like they have to have that backup when just everything seems lost, all hope seems lost.
Yeah. When we
Continue.
talked about that a little bit. I mean, this episode is kind of talking about letting your kids win. We've talked about letting your kids fail, right? And like,
Yeah.
it's a balance on both sides because you don't want to let your kid fail and die like in life,
I mean,
right? Like, you
let's
don't.
not get drastic here. Like, fail to the
Yeah, yeah.
point that they don't want to try new things ever because they're so
Yeah.
scared of failing.
Yeah. But you also don't want to spoon feed them everything
Mhm.
and have them build that as their expectation for life, right? It's a really calculated balance of showing your kid the joys of winning and also the hardship of losing, and how we teach them that through, direct life lessons, but also, games, and obviously we talked about video games, but sports or tabletop games, or however you play with your kid, like that play can be a great insight into the realities of wins and losses in the rest of their life.
And I'll say it's been hard for me because I'm trying to figure out that perfect balance. We're gonna take Lucas and Noah as the good examples here. Like Lucas loves to start something headstrong, as do I. As you know, we've been friends long enough that like I'm just gonna jump into something, and then when it doesn't go my way, you just immediately hit the brakes, flip a U, and go the other way. And we're trying to instill in Lucas that sometimes things are hard, and you have to work through them. But again, I'm guilty of it as an adult. Hey, I want to do this. Oh, it's not as fun as I thought it was. Oh, it's not as easy as I thought it was. Let me not do this anymore. As an adult, I understand that, hey, sometimes you have to be like, I got to back up. How am I going to teach my kid this when that's all they see too? You and I are jack of all trades kind of guys. I want to do this hobby. I'm good at it for a little bit. Oh, I'm not good at it anymore, and I quit. I feel like I'm probably not the only dad who has gone through this kind of thing.
Totally.
And Noah, and with Noah, it's a lot more simple. He is like, hey, Noah, clean up the toys. It's hard work. Like, where did you learn this from? I feel like April and I are all about hard work. All we do is work.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, and that's the balance that you're striking, right? Is you're and again, that you can teach the value of hard work through having your kids do hard work. You can also teach the value of hard work through encouraging your kids to do something that they want to do and practice it, right? And then showing them that the thing that they did, like Lucas getting really good at Rocket League, was hard work. It probably didn't feel like it because he was having fun. He was playing a game. But if you look at what he did, he was consistently practicing and going back and doing something even though he was losing at it. Those are the two principles that make a hard worker, right?
And see, I guess the issue with me is like not everything is fun though. And again, I grew up in some fucked up kind of household that like all work and no play, so fun just doesn't exist. So like, no, I'm going to teach you this lesson and you don't need to have fun doing it. And I like, again, I know I'm admitting my faults here, but how do you teach that when, especially this generation of kids, it's all about that dopamine rush. You hit some kind of button, you do some kind of swiping, you do some kind of something, and boom, 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 satisfaction. How do you teach? Hey, you go cut the yard and you be proud of what you did. Obviously, super like my examples are all over the place. I'm so bad at analogies.
Well, no, but I mean, and I don't know, man. You always talk trash about this generation, but this generation is the kids that we're raising. So if there's something wrong with them, it's because we're not doing a good enough job. Like,
and again,
there's
there's
a societal aspect there for sure, but
like we just want to like this podcast is imparting our wisdom, and that makes us seem so fucking old. Imparting our wisdom on dads because what are we doing wrong as our generation teaching the next generation teaching the generation our grandkid kind of thing? Like is there something wrong with them? Probably not. We are just raised by our fathers, our grandfathers, who's again all work and no play, you work until you're 65 and then you die at 70 or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I'm just making shit up because I hate working.
No, man, and I think all of us are just trying to do the best we can with what we've got, right? I mean, and that really, at the end of the day, that's all you can do is based off of your knowledge and your experiences and what you've learned and the resources that you have. Do the best to not fuck up in ways that you have fucked up before or other people have fucked up. Like I saw a post recently that was talking about our generation, and like our generation realized the impact that having a shitty or traumatic childhood can have on you. And so our generation of parents tends to be a lot more considerate and caring and work through those traumatic situations with our children, so that hopefully our kids don't grow up with the traumas that we grew up with, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to fuck up our kids in new and different ways, and they're going to have to fix that generational trauma that we gave them. But such is the circle of life. All we can do is the best with the knowledge that we have.
And it's admitting failure. You know, we want our kids to fail. We want them to win. We as adults, we have to, and you would think we would learn at this point, but we don't, because we don't want to fail when we're 35 years old or 30, 31. Like, but sometimes you fail. It happens, and it sucks. To this day, I hate failing. I want to be the best at literally everything because that's who I am. But I can't. When it comes to raising a teenager, when I had zero experience, I am probably not doing a great job, but I'm doing my fucking best. I don't. Anybody listening to this who has the experience, let me know what I can fucking do. Let Goody know. We'll be in that situation soon enough, because let me tell you, the years, as Smash Mouth says, the years start coming and they don't stop coming.
And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming.
Did I send you that video? It's a great video.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a so part of our responsibility as dads, I'm going to say this very definitively. This is obviously just my opinion. Part of our responsibility as dads is to teach our kids that it is okay to fail, right? And something that I'm working on is accepting my losses in front of Alana,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you are that guy who, when you lose a game or fail, you always have an excuse, right? I wasn't playing my normal character. This isn't a map that I'm used to. This isn't a level. This is my first time playing this game. That's why I lost, right? Then what your kid sees...
I feel like that's a valid excuse, though. This is my first time playing.
No. Totally. All of those are valid excuses. But what that says to your kid is, when I lose, I have to defend why I lost.
Okay,
I have to
fair.
say that there's a reason. I have to create this false sense of bravado that, like, oh, I would have won except I was playing as Yoshi instead of Mario. Or, oh, I lost because I'm not used to playing this level and it's a new map for me. Whereas, like, if I just go, man, I lost because you kicked my ass. You did great this game. That boosts their self-esteem and shows them, leading by example. Hey, when I lose, it's okay to say I lost, right? And that prepares them for a lot, because you're not always going to win in life, right? You're going to lose. And if you can lose gracefully and lose with kindness for whoever beat you in whatever life situation, I think that's a huge human skill to have.
And I will say, we have tried teaching that to Lucas, because he is of the age that he understands winning and losing. I can still admit, again, that I am still not the best winner or best loser in the world. If we're playing Smash Bros, it's because I play some off the wall character I don't usually play, because I'm trying to make it fair. That's also why I won't let him play. I won't play Rocket League, because I don't want him to beat me. But getting off of video games, I will say that the other night, April and I made a mistake, and we owned up to it. we said, Lucas, we are wrong, and we apologize, because we want to teach him that, hey, we're not perfect either. We are parents. We're learning it too. And so we do the thing of, we're wrong. Here is not a reward so much, but like, hey, we're wrong. Here's something to make up for our wrongdoing.
Yeah, some reparations, some compensation for the perceived wrongdoing.
So while I may not do it in video games, I will do it in normal life. Yeah. Which is probably very confusing for a teenager in this generation who's all about video games and winning in video games, and I don't let anybody win again.
Well, and it shows, and I think it goes both ways, right? I think having humility when you lose and having humility when you win teaches your kid not to be braggadocious and super big-headed when they win, because they might get smacked down the next time, right? And it teaches them to have some grace in their loss and give themselves some grace, right? Because that's always the hardest thing, is like, I feel like, and again, this is something that I'm working on, but I feel like when I lose, I have to defend it, right? There has to be a reason why I lost. It can't just be that I wasn't good enough. And like, it should be okay that, like, we should normalize the fact that sometimes you're not good enough, or sometimes you're really good, but somebody else is better than you, right? And that's one of those things that, you know, like, to take it back to actually, you know what? Let's talk about Magic, right? You just started playing Magic the Gathering card games. You could be really, really good at Magic, but you've been playing for a couple of weeks, and I've been playing for years. So odds of me beating you at the game are pretty good just because of experience base. And that doesn't mean that you're bad. You could be a badass new player who picked up the game super fast and knows exactly how to play and is doing great, but you don't know every single card that's been printed since 1993. You don't know every single rule. You don't know every single, like, piece of lore that goes along with the game and the cards and the story and the whatever. In the same way that, like, my cousin is really good at Smash Brothers for a 10-year-old.
No, he's really good at Smash Bros. I'll play him too. Yeah. I'm gonna lose to him on purpose, just so he'll try harder and he'll beat you. Oh, he's beaten me a couple times. He's actually pretty good. But you were using a new character? You never played that level?
Hey, pro tip: if you're playing with kids and you want to give them a little bit of advantage, just always choose random for your character, because then you end up playing some off the wall characters that, like, aren't my main. Like, he's never going to beat me if I'm playing Captain Falcon. It will never happen.
Bro, Captain Falcon's the fucking best.
But if he is playing his best character and I'm playing Jigglypuff, we might be on a little bit better playing field, you know?
Yeah, because fuck Jigglypuff. I can't play with Jigglypuff.
I can crush with Jigglypuff too, but
you know what? Again, I said it. We'll both random and we'll both play some Smash Bros here.
There we go. Maybe this will be our first YouTube live stream.
And I'm gonna win because I'm the best. I'm just kidding. I'm not actually that good. I like to believe I'm decent, but saying, like, whatever you're saying, like, I'm not gonna beat you.
Yeah. One, and I mean, maybe I'll let you win and we can practice my gracious losing.
You need it. I will say, you know, going back to Magic, like, getting Lucas into that, and he did beat me. Technically, I lost twice on Sunday, okay? I did not play my best first game, and because it was his first game. And I'm not making an excuse. That is the actual facts. I did not want to make it unfun for him for his first game, because, again, you and I discussed it. You don't want to make it where somebody doesn't want to play again. So I was like, cool, I'm not going to wipe the floor with this kid. I'm going to let him stay alive. And he ended up being the death of me. Okay? Second game, it was a little more fair. He was learning the game a little bit. Smart kid. I'll give it to him. Super smart kid. Kind of the game that he could really get into. And, well, Sam beat me, but Lucas had something to do with that too, because Lucas likes to pick on me because I've been picking on him for 7 fucking years. So, like, I'll give it to him. He's picking it up. He's good. Will I ever admit it to the kid? It's going to be a hard one.
Yeah. Well, and to touch off of something you just said, right? Like all of these behaviors that we're talking about, like your kids see what you do and they're going to emulate you, right? Like there are so many things that, and usually I don't see them. Usually Emily calls me out on it, but there's so much stuff that I'll do. And Emily will be like, you know, that was your dad, right? Like you were just doing an Ed thing, like 100%. That's what, like you did that because your dad always does that. And so like, you have to keep that in mind too with like, again, if you're just wiping the floor with him every round and you're being a jerk about it, then when he inevitably gets better at you than that, better at that game than you are, he's going to be an asshole to you about it every time he wins.
Have you met me? Yeah, I'm pretty much an asshole, so fuck. I'm just creating me again.
Yeah.
Which, not a problem. I love me. But no, you make a good point. Like, I fuck, you called me out. I got no words here. Damn it.
Yeah. No, but it's and there's always something to be learned in having the humility to let somebody win, right? And maybe you don't know because apparently you never let anybody win.
I know when I go out on top and I'm fucking keeping my title.
But like there's something to be said for being able to just kind of put your ego aside and be like, you know what, it means more to me that Lucas has a good time playing this game so that he'll keep playing this game than it does for me to crush him every single time, right?
Exactly. And again, I had to sit there and I had to stop and I had to think, what did Goody tell me at some point? Pretty sure it was you. I'm giving you credit if it wasn't. Because at the end of the day, I'm dad. I'm not friend. Like, I don't want him to go through the rest of his life thinking that the world just fucking sucks. Like, yeah. Does it? Yes, it does. And we all fucking know it does. But, like, let's raise our children to have some kind of positive outlook. And I'm guilty of not doing that most of the time because of how I was raised. And I try to do better. But, like, sometimes I have thoughts of clarity when I'm like, I've got to do better. And this is that time I'm going to do better.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that you put it that way, because you know it's one of those things that I saw something recently where somebody said like you can't be friends with your kid when they're a kid and friends with your kid when they're an adult. You can either be their friend when they're growing up and then their parent later, or you can be their parent when they're growing up and you can be their friend later. And I don't fully agree with that. But I do think I want to be Alana's friend, right? I am Alana's dad. And I think right now, parent has to take priority and friendship takes a backseat so that later in life, we can be friends. And when she needs me to be a parent, I'm still there as a parent as a secondary function, right?
So, yes, but no. And before I get to my point, I have heard the grandparent side of it. You can either be a parent now, or you can either, what is it? I'm drawing a blank here, but it's pretty much like you can parent now and be friends later, or you can be friends now and parent your grandchildren. I'd have to look it up. Obviously, I'm quoting it wrong. Anybody listening, I'm sorry. Somebody has probably seen the same shit. I get what you're saying, though. You want to be that comfort for your child, but we are different parents, so I am going to have to disagree with you. I don't ever want to be my kids' friends until they're. I know that I did a good job as a parent, but I do want them to feel comfortable coming to me with an issue. I don't want them to be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm taking your car." I want them to be like, "Hey, I respect you. May I borrow the car?" kind of thing. Hey, may I borrow some money? And I'm like, hey, we're friends. You're going to give me some money. Not that I'd take money from my friends.
I was going to say, I would never just show up at your house and take your car and we're very good friends. What are you talking about?
But I'm just saying, like, when kids grow up, they want the car. They need the money. They XYZ, answer whatever here. But as good friends, we're like, hey, Goody, can I borrow your car? Because I have that respect. I learned that respect.
Yeah.
And I feel like
But I think,
that was taught to me, kind of thing.
but I think, I don't know, man. I feel like if I, like you and I are friends, if I needed to borrow your car, or if I needed to borrow some money, or if I
Which you
needed a
have.
ride to
You
the
needed my
airport, yeah,
car.
100%. And did I show up and say, "Hey, dude, I'm taking your Jeep because I need something that's 4-wheel drive"? No, I said, "Hey, Derek, can I borrow your car? This is the situation. Like, respectfully, you have this thing. Could I borrow it? It would help me out a lot." Like,
to,
that's the way. That's the
to
way
be
that I approach friendship. I think the piece when I say that I want to be my kid's friend, that's the biggest thing. Is I want them to be comfortable coming to me and asking, saying, "Hey, I don't have the resources. I need help. Hey, I got myself into a bad situation. Can you help me out of it? Hey, I don't know what to do here. Can you, tell me because you're smarter than me?"
and I guess it's a fine line that we're walking on this one, because you and I may be saying the same thing, but like we have different ways of phrasing it. Again, I'll take my wife. She, her mother, obviously, generation that is all about strict parenting, XYZ. Her mom was her best friend for the longest time. They finally had that relationship, but it's a respect thing. I'm assuming, I don't know, honey, if I say this wrong, I'm sorry. Um, but as parents, I just, as parents, I don't see it as you gotta like wave to the camera. You are so.
I don't know why it just got super blurry. There we go.
Anyways, but like
Thanks,
as a
autofocus.
yeah, thanks camera. Anyway, see, it didn't do it to me. It doesn't like you because I'm beautiful and you're not.
Ouch.
I'm just kidding. You're a beautiful man. Anyways, I just I don't see. When my kids move out, I want them to know they can come back home, but I don't want them to be like, "Hey, we're friends," when they're 16 years old and they're gonna walk all over me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a topic for a different episode.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
friendship and kids, I do not think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, see, maybe we'll have to do a whole episode on this because I definitely think that those are close bedfellows, if you will.
And
Those things
again,
exactly pair together.
dads who are listening to this, please like comment, email us, whatever, because I feel like this is a topic that our generation, like you said before, we're trying to make changes from our previous generation, from our parents who were raised by their parents, kind of thing, and we're trying to break that cycle. So I know where you're coming from, and I get it, and I respect it. At the same time, here are my points of view. Somebody let us know, what are y'all's points of view. Help me make sense of this, or tell me I'm fucking wrong. Like I will gladly accept being wrong here.
No, and I don't think you are, because I think, like, and again, we'll dive into this deeper in a future episode. But like, my dad, I don't necessarily think that my dad and I were like friends growing up, right? My dad loved me because I was his son, and I loved him because he was my dad. But it was always that like paternal respect level, right? And now at 33, I still have that paternal respect for my dad, and he is one of my dearest and closest friends, and I will like go grab a beer with my dad any day of the week. I will go hang out with my dad any day of the week. And I don't think that him being an authority figure impacted that for me, right? But I do see people whose they had, the party parents, right, that were like super cool if their kid just did whatever and threw house parties, and like they'd go out for date nights so their kids could throw parties at their houses and stuff. And those kids don't tend to have great relationships with their parents later in life. So I see how that correlation might click to somebody, that like if you're friends with your kids, or you like let them do whatever they want when they're kids, then they're not gonna like be your friends and respect you as an adult. But I think that it has more to do with your parenting style and the way that you spend time with them throughout their entire childhood and adult life, not just you can't be friends with your kid or else they'll never respect you, right?
yeah, I think we might be saying the same things, but like saying it differently. But like also again, like our parenting styles are different, and that's why we work so well together in this podcast. Like we are going to have differing views. I would love to get some dads on here that have the two differing like parenting. Like for one, I could not tell you a single kid growing up that their parents went out of town so their kid could throw house parties. Like I want that dad on here. I want them. I want to talk to them. Like let me
sure.
pick your brain. But it's I don't know. I don't know anything else other than what I grew up with. And your dad seems like an awesome guy, and you seem super fucking close to him. And again, like everybody seems to have loved the episode when your dad was on. I'd love him on again. I also want my father-in-law in because his kids is. I want to go with the triplets. I'm not going to go with the other two. The triplets like seem to respect him so much, like that kind of like seventh heaven vibe. If you get what I'm saying.
A deep cut that none of our listenership will understand, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I am aging myself, but you know, they respected their dad, but they understood kind of like I feel like kind of where you grew up. Like I'd like to get him on and pick his brain because I also know how his kids are now. At least the triplets, and I'd love to pick his brain about what he did and how he got to where he is, because do I feel like my kids are going to be the same way? No, and it kind of scares me a little bit, and I'm going to be completely fucking honest with you and our listeners and our viewers, but I don't know any better, and so unless somebody tells me, I'm just going to do what I know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to get back to our core point here, what we started talking about, like, I think, I don't know, I have such a hard time like letting go of my pride and letting my kid win or letting my kid beat me. But I think honestly, at the end of the day, it teaches both of us something, right? Like it teaches me to put my ego aside, and it teaches her that she can beat me, and so she wants to do more and play more, right? Obviously, Alana's not like the games that we're playing aren't hyper competitive MMOs. Like we're playing with bouncy balls and playing catch. And
but you start you start here, and then it grows, and she's like, oh, I have a chance to actually win, so I'm going to do these things with dad or mom or whoever. Like, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and it encourages, like, you know, we always talk about like, you know, you see a lot of parents of teenagers that are like, my kid doesn't want to spend time with me. My kid doesn't want to hang out with their family. They just want to be locked in their room playing video games or whatever. Right. And like, now is when I'm laying that foundation of like, hey, like it's cool to take time to yourself. And if you want to play a video game with your friends locked in your room, so do I. So like, let's make Friday evenings, you go and play with your friends. I go and play with my friends, and we go our separate ways. But Saturday, you have fun playing with me because we've been playing together for your entire life since you were 2 years old. And I started letting you win at games and play with me and have fun. You want to come back and play more because I am not just that person who's crushing you every time. Right. And I don't know, man, maybe when Alana is 16, I'll eat my words because every 16-year-old doesn't want to hang out with their dad. But like, I like to arrogantly think that I'll be the difference. I'll be the one who my kid wants to hang out with.
But you know what? You're making that change, and you understand where the fault was, and you're doing what you can to make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm starting a little later with, again, Magic the Gathering, getting Lucas involved in it. Like, hey, you see me and my buddies having a good time playing it downstairs. Like, come join us.
Yeah.
If you win,
it's not,
you fucking win.
Yeah, our Sunday evening Magic the Gathering circles aren't the weird dad poker night where we all sit around smoking cigars and no kids or wives are allowed. Like, it's something that we want everybody to come and have a good time at.
Yeah, exactly. So the smallest things, even if it's super nerdy and your kid thinks it's nerdy, one day they'll be a nerd too. Like, I once thought Magic was nerdy, and now look at me, I'm fucking playing the game.
Yeah. And hey, this goes for everything too. Like, we're obviously big old fucking nerds, but like,
yeah, we are.
Play soccer with your kid in the backyard and let them get a goal in every once in a while. Play football in the park with your kid and let them, you know, run one in past you. Like, it goes for whatever your hobby is, right? There's winning and losing in most things, and even if it's not a direct competitive sport or game, there's a success and failure rate, and it's important to make sure that your kid is winning at least sometimes, right?
And isn't it better to let your kid win when you can control the odds than going out there and playing somebody and losing and you have no control over and have to explain that? Like, if you're playing football with your kid, oh, you know what? You just really had a good game. You really smoked me on that one. Like, what are you going to tell them about the other team? Oh, they're just better than you. Control the odds there. Teaching that winning is okay and losing is okay. And while you're controlling the odds and they have no fucking idea.
I love it, man. Well, thanks for joining us for another week of this delightful podcast of Derek and I talking about our reckless opinions on parenting and how they're different.
And why I'm right all the time, of course.
Yeah, of course. As you can tell, Derek is winning at parenting.
Fuck, you got me there. Damn it, you're calling me out again.
I won't abuse you with our socials. We tell you every week to like and share this video, but we just appreciate you coming and hanging out and spending time with us. So until next week, I'm Andrew Goody.
And I'm Derek Mata.
And we are proud of you.